Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Today we're going to do us a vertical again, and maybe we'll get the other half to set in on the final chug. I've got the 2013 and the 2014 edition here. The 2014 edition was sent to me by Ewan and Bassey, and I thought Parrish had sent me the 2013 edition, but when I opened up the box, Leandro had sent me this. It's still got the little Christmas tag on here, and we're getting close to Christmas, so I've had this bottle about a year. It says, "Merry Christmas, Greg and Charlotte, your friend Leandro." See, Leandro, thanks again for rounding this up and getting it out to me. Sorry it's taking this long, but these kind of beers I like to cellar, especially when they're big beers. This is an 8.5%er. And we got, like I said, we got two editions here. We got the 2013 and the 2014 vintage here. And I'm a big fan of Firestone Walker. They do some really I don't think they make a bad beer. I really don't. And both of these bottles have that little heat shrunk wine type cap over top of their bottle cap on here. So I've got two glasses here, and I'm going to pour each of them respectively and see what we end up with, and then I'm going to go sip on it and let her have the other glass, and hopefully we'll get her to come in here and sit in on the final chug and give you her thoughts on what the beer is. She's had 99.9% of all the beers that I've reviewed, guys. If it's been a big bottle like this or a 750, she's got a full glass out of it. And if it's been a 12-ounce bottle or so, she's got 2 or 3 sips out of each one. So she's tasted about as many as I got. Her palate's not quite as defined as mine is. She has a lot of sinus problems, so she don't get the aromas and a lot of the taste that I get. But she knows a good beer when she tastes it, especially the beers like this, and especially the bourbon barrel aged ones. If it's something that's been bourbon barrel aged, when I hand it to her to taste, she'll say, "You don't want this back, do you?" So she's a big fan of those type of beer. This is not bourbon barrel aged, but it is a nice roasty porter from what I've heard. And I've had the small bottle. I had somebody send me one of those many years ago for me to try. And now they're doing them in these big bottles. This is their Velvet Merkin. This is the 2013 over here. This is the Velvet Merkin 2014. And make sure they're both ABV. This says 8.5 right here on this one. 2014 edition, and this one says 8.5%, 2013 edition Reserve Series. So we've got two different vintages here, guys. So when we did the last Firestone Walker vertical that we did, there was quite a bit of difference from 2013 to 2014. A lot of differences, as a matter of fact. The 14 was very fruity, where the 13 was not. It was kind of cloudy, and 14 had some chunkiness to it. The 13 was just cloudy, didn't have a lot of sediment or chunkiness to it. Very different beers, so we'll see where this one ends up. Like I said, got two different glasses. I got the double glass here, guys. We will hold it for the 2013, and I've got the Sovereign beer glass here, and we'll do the 2014 edition of it in there. Commercial description. This is probably going to be a long video, guys, especially with me getting her in here and talking. This very easily going to be a 20-minute video. A lot of people don't like that, but I really don't give a rat's ass. If you want a 5-minute beer review, you need to go somewhere else. I'm going to tell you what I think, and it's going to take as long as it takes. So there. Sorry to be that blunt, but after 1,800 beer reviews, it takes what it takes. Commercial description says this is our Velvet Merlin Oatmeal Stout, aged in bourbon barrels. So it is aged in bourbon barrels. I have had the Velvet Merlin, and the Velvet Merkin is the one that's aged in the bourbon barrels. And it just won the 2010 and the 2011 gold medal at the GABF. For you guys that don't know what's GABF, that's the Great American Beer Festival held in Denver, Colorado every year. Those tickets are through the roof. I mean, unless you're a brewery or know somebody, very hard to get those tickets unless you grab them the first day they come on sale. I would love to attend that sometime. I really, really would. This beer goes into the barrels as a roasty dark chocolate, coffee accented, and mild mannered stout, and comes out transformed as a milk chocolate, smooth dark cherry, vanilla, coconut infused masterpiece. We are incredibly proud of this beer, and it seems as though it was always meant to be barrel aged brew. 100% oak barrel aged. Now it says 100% oak barrel aged, but earlier in the paragraph it says bourbon barrel. So I don't know how much of bourbon this is going to have. The bottle that I had sent to me many years ago was this a little small 12-ounce bottle. And it may have not been the Merkin, it may have been the Merlin. I cannot get either one of those beers here. I do get some Firestone Walkers, but I don't get those. Those seem to be reserved for the people out in California for some reason, or closer states. I don't know exactly where Ewan and Vassy are located. I don't remember. They probably told me. I do know Leandro is in Bakersfield, and he is fairly close to the Firestone Walker Brewery. And I can kick myself in the ass many times for not going by and visiting that brewery while I was there. But like I tell you guys all the time, the couple that was with me drink Miller Lite. They're not into craft beers, and they weren't interested in visiting any of these craft beer breweries. So if I do make another trip out there to California, it won't be with them. It'll be with somebody that enjoys a nice craft beer, or it'll be just me and the other half. Learned that lesson. Alright, without further ado, let me get this little cap off that Leandro sent me. I originally thought Parrish had sent me this beer, but Leandro picked it up for me. So let's get the little cap off of this thing, where we can get into it and get it into the glass. Let me slide the opener out of here. Still got a few guys. If you need one, give me a shout. Oh, nice big hiss on this one. Very, very nice. And those boxes in the front might be in the way, so I'll pour it up here where you can see it. I'm going to try to pour them both the same. We're pouring this one down the center. And that's enough of that one. And I'm going to set the bottle out of the way over here, guys. And you still can't see it. Let me get these boxes out of the way. And now for the 2013 edition. Let's get this full foil thing off. Not quite as big a hiss on the 13 as the 14. Close, but not quite the same. Down the center. And that's a 2013 edition. I'm going to set the bottle out of the way over here again, guys. And get them both up here where you can see them. A little more head on this particular pour on the 2014, about a finger, about a half a finger on the 2013 edition. Over into the light on the 13. This particular glass doesn't have a small part like this one does, but it is pitch black. I'm not getting any light through it. And for the 2014 edition, we hold it over into the light, and not a whole lot of light through there. Maybe a slight bit of red rubbiness around the very bottom of the glass. Not much at all. It is pretty pitch black. Good looking beers. And as you can see, the 2013, the head is dissipated completely. It's just barely covering the top of the beer, where we still have a full finger of head on the 2014 edition. So right off the bat, we're getting some differences right off the bat. Before I put a nose on it or taste it or anything, a little different looking in the glass. And I don't think the glass has that much to do with it. They're both tulip style glasses, and they were both poured the same down the center. So let's get a nose on the 13. Definitely getting a little bit of the bourbon. Not much. It's not overpowering. It's not off the chain like a lot of the bourbon barrel aged beers are. A little bit of woodiness in there. A little bit of the alcohol too on the nose. It's right out of the bottle though. That will probably subside a little bit. Some dark fruit notes. Caramel and toffee. Maybe some bittersweet chocolate. But the head is the biggest thing that I'm noticing a difference in right off the bat. The head is basically gone on the 2013 edition, where we still got a finger of head on the 2014. Let's get a nose on the 14. Very similar. A little more caramel and toffee smell. Same amount of bourbon in the nose. A little bit of woodiness in there and some dark fruit. Not a big difference. Maybe just a little bit more bourbon in the 14. It's not quite as old as the 13. Just shall I? I'm actually getting a little bit of grapes in there too. Maybe some dark grapes. Very nice. Very well made beer. That is awesome. And like I said again, look at the head differences on the glasses. We still got about a half a finger of creamy head on the 14. The 13 is gone. It's dissipated completely. To me, I'm getting a little bit stronger bourbon notes on the 13. Still very tasty. Not a drastic difference between one and the other than the head on this one, and a little bit stronger bourbon notes. Not in the aroma, and no burning or anything, but just a little bit differences in the taste here. The bourbon seems to be a little more prominent in this one. Where it's a little more subdued on the 14 than it is the 13. Still, about a quarter finger of head on the 14. Absolutely none on the 13. So I don't know if they're using the same barrels between 13 and 14 while we're getting more bourbon on the 13 as we are as opposed to the 14 edition. Both very similar in taste. I've got a feeling it's the same recipe. Just not sure they've used fresh barrels for the 14. Maybe they put the 14 in the same barrel as the 13 we're in. And the 13 is getting more of the bourbon out of those barrels. Maybe the 14 is not a first run bourbon barrel, I'm not sure. But to me, just a hint more of bourbon in the 13 than we're getting from the 14. So let me take these two bottles and pour her a glass and sip on these. Like I said, prime candidate to fire up a nice Maduro wrapped cigar to smoke with this. Might have to pull a fresh one out of the humidor back here and pour her a glass and let her sip on it for a little bit, and maybe we can talk her into finally, after 5 years plus, to come on camera. I mentioned it to her, and I believe she may come out here. We'll put her over here, move the cushion out of the way and set her over here and see what she's got to think, but I got a feeling she's going to say probably about the same thing that I'm saying. I don't know if she can tell the difference that much between one or the other, but she's definitely going to get probably the same notes that I'm getting with the chocolate and the dark fruit and stuff in there. So my palate's just a little more refined than hers is. I don't have sinus problems like she does. So let's go sip on this one for a little bit and see if we can talk her into coming in and sitting on camera. I know a bunch of you guys have been hankering for that for some damn reason. So we'll see if we can talk her into it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Little bit of differences between the 2013 and the 2014 edition here. The 2013 to me has a little bit more bourbon qualities in it. The 2014 is a little creamier, a little smoother mouthfeel to this. They both seem to me like they're the same recipe. And here we are. We've got the other half here. Charlotte is going to set in and give us the final chug along with what I say on this one. Everybody's been hankering to see the other half in the beer reviews, so here she is. We're going to see what she thinks on this one. I think her idea of what I think it is pretty close to what we're going to come together on this one night. As you can see, the 2013 edition, absolutely no head. The 2014 edition is a little bit creamier, a little bit easier, a little bit smoother mouthfeel than what we've got on the 2013 edition. But along with that, the 2013 edition has a little bit more bourbon qualities to it as opposed to the 2014 edition. I think the bourbon notes are a little stronger on the 2013 as opposed to the 2014 edition. Same recipe to me. I'm still getting the same influences for the dark fruit and what I'm tasting in the beer. It seems like it's the same recipe to me, guys. I don't know if they've changed the bourbon barrels, if they're using first run bourbon barrels for the 2014 edition as with the 2013 edition. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem like it has as much bourbon qualities in the 2014 as it does the 2013. But the 2014 is a little creamier, a little bit bigger head, a little bit better mouthfeel. So let's see what we end up with here, guys. So it's the first time I've had somebody sit in with the beer reviews. I don't know if y'all can see her. She's right here. 2013 edition. Very nice. Roasted malt, dark fruit, dates, raisin, plums, figs. The bourbon is definitely there. I'm getting it. But it doesn't have the creamy mouthfeel that the 2014 edition has. So let's do the 2014 edition. To me, got the same quality. The dark fruit is there. Bittersweet chocolate. But it's a little creamier to me than the 2013 edition. So we'll let her sample both of them and see what she thinks. And then we'll do the final chug on this one. So go ahead and do the tasting on the 2013 and then the 2014 edition. But to me, guys, the 2013 edition It has a stronger bourbon taste to it. The 2014 edition has a same dark fruit notes and roasted chocolate malt, but I don't think it's got quite the same mouthfeel that the 2014 edition has, and I just don't think I think it's the same recipe, but I don't think it's the same mouthfeel that I'm getting on the 2014 edition. What are you getting?
The 2013 has a little bit of lacing inside the glass, and it tastes different. The 2014 has a lot of lacing on the glass, and it's more smoother and creamy.
I think if both of the beers are the same recipe, I just don't think that both beers are aged in the same bourbon barrels. To me, I'm getting more bourbon from the 2013 than I am the 2014, but I'm getting a creamier mouthfeel from the 2014 as opposed to the 2013. You agree?
Yes.
So let's do the final chug on this one. This is the 2014. Very nice, very smooth, be very easy drinking. But the bourbon notes are not quite as strong to me on the 2014 as they are on the 2013. But it has a nice creamier mouthfeel than the 2013 does. So I really think it's the same recipe. I think they brewed exactly the same beer, but I'm not sure they've used first run bourbon barrels in the 2014 as they did in the 2013. The 2013 poured practically no head, but it has a stronger bourbon notes to it as opposed to the 2014 edition. Final chug. To me, it tastes like exactly the same recipe, and the bourbon notes are a little stronger in the 2013 edition, but it doesn't have that creamy mouthfeel that the 2014 edition has. So I don't know what has changed between the two beers. They're both excellent beers. They're both A beers as far as I'm concerned. The 2013 edition has a stronger bourbon notes to it than the 2014 does, but the 2014 has a little creamier mouthfeel to it than the 2013 does. I think it's the same recipe because I'm getting exactly the same taste other than the bourbon notes that the 2013 has as opposed to the 2014 has. But I'm getting a little bit creamier mouthfeel on the 2014 than I am the 2013. So I think it's exactly the same recipe. I'm just not sure they've used the same bourbon barrels or fresh run bourbon barrels on the 2014 as they did on the 2013. So both great beers, excellent beers. Ewan and Vassy, thank you for sending me the 2013 edition, and Leandro, thanks for rounding up the 2014 edition and getting it to me. Apologize for not doing it sooner, but I was trying to age these beers as long as possible, and with everything that's going on here, it was time to get these two beers reviewed. So with what she's thinking is exactly what I'm thinking. The 2013 edition has a little bit more bourbon taste to it, but a little thinner mouthfeel. The 2014 edition has a little bit more creamier mouthfeel, but not quite as much bourbon notes as the 2013 edition has. Both great beers though. Wish I could get these beers here. I cannot get these beers here. I do get some Firestone Walker beers, but I do not get this particular version here for some reason. Don't know why, but I don't. So with that being said, to me guys, it is a 9 out of 10. The 2014 edition is a little creamier than the 2013, but the 2013 has a little bit stronger bourbon notes than the 2014. So with that being said, I'm getting exactly the same notes on the beer. I'm getting the caramel and the toffee, and I'm getting the dark fruit notes. I'm getting a little bit of bittersweet chocolate in there, and the bourbon is a little more subdued on the 2014 as opposed to the 2013. So that's where we're going to leave this one. If you've had this one from Firestone Walker, this is their Velvet Merkin, which is their bourbon barrel aged version of their Velvet Merlin. I can't get either one of these beers here for some reason. I don't know why. It's the way it goes in the beer distribution world. So Leandro, thanks for rounding this one up for me. And Ewan and Vassie, thanks for sending me the 2013 edition. Everybody's clamoring to see the other half, and here she is. She feels basically the same way I do. It is a great beer. It is an A beer. If I was putting a rating on this one, I'm going to give this one the 9 out of 10 on both 2013 and 2014. I like the bourbon aspects of the 2013 as opposed to the 2014, but I like the creaminess of the 2014 as opposed to the 2013. So they balance out. As far as I'm concerned, they're both 9 out of 10s. So with, if you've had this one from Firestone Walker, let me know what you think. I think they were both A beers. I would say I did think the 2014 edition was a little creamier. I did think the 2013 had a little bit more bourbon notes as opposed to the 2014 edition. You agree?
Yes.
So as far as I'm concerned, they're both great beers. So if you see either one of these on the shelf, pick them up, give it a try, let me know what you think. As opposed to the 2013 and 2014 edition, they're both great beers. They're both A beers as far as I'm concerned. If I was putting a numeric rating on this beer, I would probably give it a 97 or 98. Both great beers. A beers as far as I'm concerned. Going over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 94 in their outstanding range. And going over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 100 overall and 100 in this style. So A's from everybody here on this. So if you had this one from either the 2013 or the 2014 edition, let me know what you think. I thought it was excellent. And there she is. She made her debut. Alright guys, let's come on back tomorrow. Let's see what's in the fridge. See you then.